Hi everyone, welcome to this week's video. Today I'll be drawing a whale shark using Adobe Fresco. If you haven't checked out last week's video, it's in my channel. I drew manta rays, so go ahead and check it out. So I'm starting with the initial draft of what I want to draw today. I always like to add some patterns, so I'm planning to do some water ripple-like effects as the background. So now I'm going to do the final outline. I'm doing it in a black liner, and I'm just going to make sure all the spots are nice and smooth since this is going to be featured in my final drawing. And this one always takes a while, but here's the result. And now is the best part, the coloring. Adobe Fresco has a great color inside the line feature, so it just makes coloring so simple. Now I'm just going to add some shadows, some highlights, and also some little fun details to make the drawing more neat. So after a bit, I decided on these highlighter lines. I really like how the brush is making them look, how they're thinner at the ends, and then they kind of widen into the general highlighting area. And so I'm just going to apply it to most of the whale shark. I'm going to experiment a bit. I decided that I might try the top, but in the end, I decided it was a bit too much considering whale sharks also have dots, and I'm going to have to add them in later. So now I'm just deciding on the dots. I decided that they're going to be an off-white, they're going to have like a bluer tone because that's going to be the color of the background too, so that's just a nice connection. And I'm just looking at what brush and what size I want to make the dots look perfect, and I decided on this. So I'm going to add that to the top and to the fins. I also really like to add these line details and dots to the rest of the body. I started doing this in a previous acrylic painting that was featured in a couple of shorts, so come check those out. I'll have links in the description, and it just adds a little nice pop to the rest of the whale shark. Now that the whale shark is done, I'm going to focus on the background. Initially, I was thinking about circles, but as I tried with a more vertically effect, I realized that these little blobs are more fun for the background. And I'm just making sure that the colors kind of match what's inside the whale shark, so I'm going to add a bit of lighter tones and also probably some white highlights as well as dots because that's just my signature style. And yeah. Never be afraid to just let loose and experiment in your drawings. I developed this style by just not thinking about what I'm painting and just letting my brush or pencil just flow, and just adding these little fun details just gives it your own kind of flair. Finally, the last part of this process is to add a border. I'm doing it in the same color as the main shade of the whale shark, and it just adds a nice finish to the rest of the drawing. I'm thinking of maybe later selling them as postcards or as art prints, so let me know if you're interested in that. And yeah. As I mentioned before, I can't just end this drawing without adding some dots, so I'm going to add some to the background. And 3, 2, 1, here's the final result. I think it turned out beautifully. Comment below if you liked it and what other marine-inspired creatures you want to see me draw. Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, and have a great day!